Gee. Hashtag wow, hashtag now. Today's the third. Yesterday was Autism Awareness Day. So appropriate, it'd be appropriate I watch Mary and Max. There you go. John Max here. A lot of colorful characters. It was kind of ironic because the movie isn't colored. Anyhow, yeah, that's how you do it right. Colorful characters, even though the movie's not colored. Well, look for browns and grays, but close enough, and some reds there you saw there. It kind of reminds me of Dan Mendoza's work. He did a lot of, you watch his earlier work, a lot of comics are black and whites, and he used colors when colors express more of the personality in the story. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So I don't know if Marion Max is a fan of Dan Mendoza or maybe Sin City. I don't know. Anyhow, let's get started. The View, Marion Max is praised for not being perfect, but at least trying to understand what autism is about. Again, usually we see autism, you see people just screaming out in public, and everybody's staring at them. And again, that's, well, I guess I'm not the best judgment of autism because I don't know anyone with autism. I do meet some people with Down syndrome. I have met some people with Down syndrome. That actually is true. And even then, they don't scream out loud. So again, I also gotta give this movie praise for at least toning it down, but trying to be more accurate. But again, the problem is it is simplified as much. And again, that's the only way to really educate people who don't have doctorate degrees is to simplify things as much as possible. So at least get a rough idea of what it is. So again, you can't fault them for simplifying it. Again, we deal with someone named Max. He talks about his life. He talks about how he has trouble adjusting to the world. He doesn't quite understand, or they're trying to explain things. Like he says, talking about things like he has to go to Weight Watchers group. He weighs 350 pounds. The doctor said, please, you got to, the psychiatrist says, you got to lose weight. Healthy body, healthy mind. And of course, that doesn't play out because he actually does get into a healthy relationship with his pen pal and he ends up getting fatter. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to bring up and he ends up doing the opposite. He talks about well how he suffers every day. He takes everything literal. He has trouble understanding social cues. He doesn't people don't understand him, or he doesn't understand them. I mean, the idea here, he gets up angry. People are constantly littering to a point where he even took it on this homeless person. Physically, he tried to attack this homeless person, but really, the guy said sorry, and he realized that Max realized he went too far, and you see him being feel bad about what he did. He is obsessed with chocolate, which again, this is why we have the, okay, fine, so chocolate sandwich on a chocolate hot dog, but you get the idea. Good enough. He does make, other end of the country, of the world, literally the other end, all the way to Australia. A little girl has to deal with terrible parents. Again, that's, let's see here, did a little drawing of herself. Before she got a camera. Where are you, where are you? There you are. Starts off as a little girl, so in a way, Max actually kind of raises her a little bit. Over in Australia, they share things. She figures she makes a pen pal out of them by accident by her looking through a phone book. Showing them different types of chocolates, ideas. They have good times and also have some bad times. One of it was that she inspired him to study mental illness and wrote a book about how he wants to cure Max. Max is very upset about this. This is, I didn't mention it earlier, but he calls himself an Aspie. He doesn't feel he needs to be cured. He figures he's fine the way he is, and you got mad at her saying, no, stop looking at me as some kind of mental disorder or a disease that needs to be cured. She gets upset. I mean, he does deal with a lot of mental disorders. He deals with depression, which I'm sure a lot of us can relate to. She really gets depressed because she feels bad for losing this close friend of hers. I mean, she almost commits suicide. It's hard to label what kind of movie this is because it does deal with the dark issues in a comedic way, but not always. I consider this a dark comedy. I mean, it's hard for to spoil it, but she had a married life that eventually the husband just left her because she fell too much in depression. She even tried to kill herself. And he makes things even darker. There was even a thing where she was actually pregnant. So yeah, they took suicide to a whole new level. There was a neighbor. Again, they make a joke out of the word homophobe, where the guy had trouble leaving his house. Eventually, he does leave the house, bring this big package. Max saying, "Okay, I forgive you," and that cheers her up. But again, they try to do some dark issues. The movie does get pretty dark. Just give you a heads up, but they try to make it light as possible. Eventually, yeah, they do meet up. Sort of. It's kind of again, it's like Brazil. There is a bittersweet ending to it. They technically meet, but Max died in his apartment, all happy, smiling for Rio. I really believe he's smiling for Rio this time. Many times he doesn't know how to smile. 'Cause again, he has to deal. He doesn't understand social cues. He just doesn't know how to smile. Believe me, something I can relate to. Well, not my plushie version, of course. And she sees his apartment is decorated with all the letters that that she wrote to him. It is a nice, sweet story. Again, the whole story is bittersweet. It's dark but heartwarming. It does deal with a lot of issues: autism, depression, homophobia, and honestly, yeah, it doesn't do it a good way. Yes, perfect. No, because again, as he pointed out, it's simplified, but that's how you educate people. You had to simplify things. I think it's done very well. And again, if you haven't watched Mary and Max, give it a watch. If you're buying a DVD or Blu-ray, that's not a bad idea to do something like this. Because you get the director's commentary. He talks about how he ought to stop animation and how he's proud that he doesn't use a lot of computers. And I think he's done very well with this case. But what are your thoughts on it? Do you know someone that does have autism? How well do you feel that they portrayed autism? How do you feel they portrayed depression or homophobia? For me, I have depression, and I think they did a good job portraying it. The idea of constantly feeling bad about everything, wishing you could thinking the ending it all. But what are your thoughts? Do you know someone with autism, and how well you think they portrayed it in this movie? Like your comments below, and of course, like and subscribe to our video, and hope your day sucks a little less.